Hey y'all. I wanted to get on here and say something. A lot of people wonder how is it that you can get on here and tell all your business, let people into your personal life and stuff like that. Understand this, and this is just how I feel. God is a never-changing God. He is the same God then, and He is the same God now, and He will be the same God forevermore. But I do believe that God is using people at this time who don't mind and who will do exactly what it is that He is calling them to do. And it's not that it's not that I'm sharing all my personal business. Is that I'm sharing what I feel like God is putting on my heart to share. And people have to realize that a lot of people look at Christians as people who feel like they have it all together, like nothing ever goes wrong, like they're living this life that is so better and grand than everybody else's. I believe that God is putting His children in the forefront, those who are going to tell their story and not tell all their business, but tell whatever God is putting on your heart to tell, so that people, non-believers, can see that they're not the only ones who struggle, that they're not the only ones that's going through things, and that we too as Christians, we go through things. But at the end of the day, it's better to go through with Christ than to not go through with Him at all. You have to realize that we're going to suffer. You're not going to get past suffering. One of my comments today I seen where somebody was saying that God is a lie. I gave my life to Christ and I went through hell. Okay, what do you think Jesus went through? They tortured Him. They embarrassed Him. They spit on Him. They mocked Him. And then they nailed Him to the cross. You don't think He went through hell while He was on earth? It's amazing how some people just think that they're exempt, that they should be exempt from going through things because they already have been going through things all their life, and to give their life to Christ, they feel like they shouldn't be going through anything. Lies. Lies. We're going to have to go through some things, but back to what I was saying. How can you say you understand somebody when you never went through nothing that they went through? I believe God is putting children and people in place, especially in people's lives and on these platforms, so that we can help people to see what it is that we go through, and it's no different than what they're going through. The only thing different is that we're willing to go through it with Jesus. God never said that we would never experience trials and tribulations, but He did promise us that we wouldn't have to do it alone. Yes, sometimes it feels like you're alone in your situation and what you're going through, but understand that God is with you. We may not can see Him, we may not can physically touch Him, but He is with us, and He gives you that comfort. My face so oily. He gives you that comfort of knowing that He's there, that He's with you. So when I get on here and I share my troubles and my struggles, it's only because I feel like God is putting it on my heart to do so. It's not to put people in my business, or some people feel like, how can you get on there telling strangers all your business? Look, sometimes you can tell your family all your business, and they can go and tell somebody else all your business and then tell them don't say nothing, and they still say something. That's just with friendships. Like, I've experienced that, and I say this because I was one of those people where you tell somebody don't tell this, and then next thing you know, they go and tell somebody and tell them don't tell this, and it's just a cycle, a pattern that keeps going. But you telling people don't tell people, but they telling people. But it's a difference between that and doing what you're doing for the Lord. And I know in my heart that what I'm doing is for the Lord. And the only way that sometimes you can get people to understand and relate to you is for them to know that you too have been through some things. You too know how it feels to go through this and to go through that. You can't draw people in sometimes when they feel like they don't have a connection with you. Like they can't relate with you because you're not going through what they're going through. So I believe at this time God is putting people in place so that we can sympathize with people and really understand from a point of view of things that they're going through, because we've went through it. And it's allowing us, if we allow God to help us through those things, like I say, it's not about us. When we go through trials and tribulations, it's so that we can then heal and be delivered from that, so that we can help another who's going to end up going through that same thing. So it's not about getting on social media, telling everybody your business. It's about getting on social media, doing the work for the Lord, helping people to see that this life ain't as easy as they think it is, and that with God, it is something that is very doable and very rewarding if you allow God to help you through it. If you allow God to guide you and you follow him instead of go ahead of him. Follow him instead of trail behind him. We have to move how God wants us to move, when he wants us to move, and how he wants us to move. And if he tells you to get on here to tell something that you don't want to tell, you got to tell it, because it's a reason why he's telling you to get on here to do so. So understand that a lot of things I don't want people to know. I feel like some things is my business and it should be my business. But if God puts it on my heart to get on here and tell something, I know that it's to help somebody else. So whether somebody understands that or gets it, I really don't care. And you shouldn't either, because God is telling you to do something and we have to be obedient in doing that. Whether we want to or whether somebody else feels that it's right or it's wrong, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, I wanted to get on here and say that because I've had a lot of people say certain things, and they have to realize that things have to be done a little differently. And God is putting people in place who he know is going to be bold enough and have the courage to go and do and tell whatever it is that he's telling them to do when he tells them to do it. Not being afraid of who knows this and who knows that. If God is telling us to do something and say something, it's because it's to help somebody else. Know that when you go through trials and tribulations, it's to help somebody else. Just like how Jesus died on that cross, it was to help somebody else. So understand that your trials, your tribulations, and your struggles are made to help somebody else. So I just wanted to get on here and say that, because you end up having a lot of people that have everything to say about the stuff that God is calling you to do, which I don't understand, because if God ain't calling you to do it, why is you worried about it? If God ain't calling you to do it or you to say it, why is you worried about it? Why is you worried about it? That's all I want to know. Why would you be worried about something God is calling somebody else to do if he's not calling you to do it? But yeah, we have to just be obedient. It's right now, and it's been about being obedient, but right now more than ever, we have to worry about being obedient to what it is that God is calling us to do, telling us to do, and whatever else. We have to worry about being obedient, not worrying about what somebody else think or what somebody else gonna say about this or about that. It's about what God say, what God think. If we stop worrying about what other people say and start worrying about what God say and what God think, a lot of things would be better. A lot of things would be better. Relationships would be better. Homes would be in better shape than what they are. Families would be in better shapes than what they are. If we stop worrying about everything else and focused on God and what he wants of us, everything in this world would be better off. Everything. Everything.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Mom? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I don't know what she got going on. I really don't know. I think she want to play. But yeah, I just felt the need to get on here to say that, because a lot of people not going to understand what God is calling you to do. A lot of people not going to understand what God has put inside you. And when you go to tell it, they're going to look at you crazy. They're going to think that you out of your mind. But they have to realize that we serve a out of this world God. A out of your mind God. Remember, he don't think like we do. He don't move like we do. So of course everything is going to be crazy or silly to somebody, because it's not measuring up to human thinking or human standards of doing things. God is calling a lot of his children out of work, out of working, out of what pays their bills. And he's allowing people to get laid off and stuff. But you have to know that it's God's doing and not just something you done did. But God is allowing people to get in situations where they have to completely and solely trust on him. And when I say that, I mean you can't call on nobody. No matter how many jobs you apply for, it ain't gonna work out. And when I say that, some jobs just not gonna work out. Far as like the stuff that they're offering you ain't enough to pay your bills, or either some applications you fill out, they're gonna say the position has already been filled. Nothing is going to work out if God does not want it to work out. God is putting a lot of us in positions and circumstances to where we can't do nothing but trust him. He's trying to help us to get to a level of faith and trust in him where he's the only one who we putting our faith and our trust in to make things happen. Because truth be told, the little jobs that we have and stuff, we say that we have given complete control to God, but at the end of the day, when that job is stripped from you, you see, because that heart go to hurting, you see exactly who you was putting your trust in. You was putting your trust in yourself to make stuff happen. Yeah, you know God blessed you with this job. Yeah, you know God made a way for you. But at the end of the day, when you know, if you get up in the morning and you go to a job, you know that you're going to make a check. So therefore, you're putting your trust in yourself instead of in God. So now the job is gone. The money is running low. And everybody around you think you a fool. Whether they tell you or not, they think you a fool. But you know what? I'm learning, and I heard this on somebody's channel, that looking a fool for God is learning how to have wisdom. I think that's what they said. But we have to realize that Christ got embarrassed. He looked at a fool. Everything. So who are we to not feel like looking a fool for Christ is something good? Looking a fool for Christ is the best thing that we can ever do for ourselves. Even though it don't feel good, it don't make us look good, because it make us look pitiful. It brings shame to you. But we got to realize, like, Christ went through all that. So who are we? Who are we? And he was blameless. We deserve this mess. And he was blameless. He was blameless. So if I have to look a fool for Christ, for people to have a new level of faith in him, then I'm willing to do that. Because I do believe in going through what I'm going through, it's going to bring a new level of trust and faith in people that they don't have right now. Seeing me have faith in God when all things and all odds are against me. And I tell God, like, it's kind of fearful because I don't know how bad it's going to get before it get good. And when I say that, I don't know what all I'm going to lose before God starts to bring the blessings into my life. I don't know how much I'm going to have to go through before God comes through. And I know he doesn't want me to worry about that, but I sit and I talk to God and I'm honest with him. I don't want to worry. I don't want to fear, but the thoughts come. But as fast as the thoughts come, I speak over myself. I encourage myself, and I get back into alignment. But it seemed like just as fast as I get back into alignment, here goes some more thoughts that I have to fight off. So the warfare in your mind is real. But as I've said, and I'm going to always say, my mind is not a playground for the devil, but a garden for the Lord. And I'm here to do whatever God want me to do, however he want me to do it. I know it ain't always going to be easy, but I know that with God, all things are possible. And I know that he will give me the peace and the understanding to know what is him and what is not him as I continue to draw closer to him. And he give me the discernment and the wisdom that I need to know what is what, when to move and how to move. But I just wanted to get on here because some people just, they don't get it. And I have to understand, and you have to understand, that they will never get it, because what God told you is what God told you. It's not what he told them. So a lot of things going to seem foolish and crazy to people, but so what? So what? So what? Because at the end of the day, we have a responsibility as God's children to obey whatever it is that he's putting on our heart to do. Whether it makes somebody else comfortable or whether anybody ever understands it. We're here to please God, not man. Not man. So I just wanted to get on here and say that, just in case anybody is going through that, because I've had several people say certain things and it makes you feel bad, but it is what it is. Like, I don't like the situation I'm in, but I know it's not to hurt me. It's to help me to be better and help me to be the person that God is going to need me to be for where he's taking me next, wherever that is and whatever that looks like. So just be encouraged, stay motivated, speak over yourself, and stay close to God. Even like when I go to pray, I let God know I don't feel like praying, God, but I'm going to pray anyway. I'm going to pray anyway. I don't feel like reading my Bible, Lord, but I'm going to read it anyway. We have to do things regardless whether we want to do it or not, because it's to help us, to help grow us and develop us into the men and women that God need us to be. So I just want to get on here and say that. And I hope that it helps somebody, it encourages somebody to just not give up, to hold on to God. We're going to go through some things. He went through a lot and he didn't deserve it. And we deserve every bit of what we go through. So we have to understand that nothing will come easy. Nothing will come easy. But at the end of it, with God, everything will be worth it. I do believe that. I do believe that. So just stay encouraged, y'all. We're going to be all right.